Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. This is another comic book review. This is the cover to Thor issue 126. I'm going to say this right off the bat. This comic cover has been parodied so many times, once with Beta Ray Bill, once with Thunderstrike. I'm just saying, this cover is well known to Thor fans, and it may be partly because this issue, Thor 126, is when the title for the comic changed from Journey in the Mystery to The Mighty Thor. This is the 343rd comic in a Marvel Comics reading order. This issue has a cover date of March 1st, 1966, and an actual release date of January 4th, 1966. On the cover, it has Thor, son of Odin, fight Hercules, the son of Zeus, with Jane Foster in the background presumably telling them to stop. The story is written and penciled by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, inked by Vince Colletta, and lettered by Artie Simek. The reason I wanted to talk about this specific issue is because ultimately it really is all just a long fight between Thor and Hercules. This issue is the fourth appearance of Hercules in the Marvel Comics. Look at this full page of artwork. So this fight started at the end of the last issue with Hercules trying to get with Thor's crush Jane Foster, and Hercules decides to fight Thor to prove himself. The last time these two fought was in Journey in the Mystery Annual 1. I like how the shopkeeper behind the two just cares about his store insurance, not about the big battle right in front of him. There's a moment when Thor and Hercules are fighting and they crash through the ground and land on top of a moving subway train. Thor thinks to himself he could take Hercules down easily, but he cannot bring himself to be so harsh to the son of Zeus. I like how they keep fighting even though they literally landed on top of a moving subway train. I also love this moment when Hercules rips off a giant tire off a scooper machine. The two are fighting in a construction demolition zone, and Hercules tosses it like a frisbee because it's a Greek sport. Back in Asgard, Odin is still furious that Thor revealed his secret identity to a human girl, Jane Foster, and he defeated Heimdall in return to go back to Earth. Balder the Brave tries to talk Odin down, but it doesn't work. To do the act of punishment, Odin gives his power to Seedring the Merciless, who Odin adds he definitely lives up to his name. This beam, when it hits Thor, will gradually drain Thor's strength to half power. Seedring is at first hesitant, but does it anyway. This hits Thor and it wobbles him in the middle of his fight with Hercules. He loses half his strength and gets defeated by Hercules afterwards. And I mean, he really does get defeated. Thor does not say uncle, so Hercules doesn't knock him out, so Hercules knocks him out. And the crowd that forms around the two loves Hercules when he's done. Anyway, in this scene, a movie guy talks to Hercules about a movie contract and he accepts it. It's a funny moment because this is after Hercules has just beaten Thor, of course, and the people still don't believe he's the real son of Zeus. I love how Herc responds, "You will make Hercules famous?" You can actually also see on the bottom of the second panel here, it says Thor issue 125, but it should say Journey in the Mystery 125. After the battle, Jane Foster goes to comfort Thor, not caring at all about the fight or Hercules. Thor brushes her off because he just lost his strength. He won't be with her until he regains her honor. Surprisingly, Odin tells Jane Foster then to follow Thor because he needs her. It's surprising because usually Odin doesn't care this much about mortals. For some reason to me, I really like this artwork, where Thor tries to, I guess, run over, in a sense, Hercules with a giant transport truck, but Hercules just smashes the truck and cargo boxes into a giant ball of metal. As we know, Thor has his hammer Mjolnir, but Hercules has his own mace. At the moment, don't think the mace is called anything special. It's not called anything special in this issue, anyway. Thor doesn't view Hercules as a bad guy in here, but a misguided brute who fights for sport. The problem with Hercules is he's really just fighting for sport and to be known as the victor, not for any noble belief. As a random girl says in the end, Hercules is a very devil-may-care personality. And when Thor is fighting Hercules, Thor asks Hercules to stop this battle, and Hercules admits if anyone else said it, he would think them a coward, but with Thor, he sees it's to protect innocent civilians. I love this little speech Thor gives about strength not being everything. Okay, so now let's talk about the last quarter of the issue. Because there was a time in Thor comics where the last quarter of the issues was another story that was set in the past before Thor was on Midgard. In this story, which is a small part of a super long journey, Thor, the Warriors 3, and Loki and Balder the Brave and others have taken across the realms. Queen Ula, leader of the Flying Trolls, has captured Loki. Now Ula has appeared in only 5 issues. This is her last appearance in a Thor comic. Queen Ula says she will release Loki if Thor says and becomes her king. Loki, of course, thinks this is a great idea. But just then, there is a blinding flash of light. During that moment, Thor grabs Loki and flies them back to their ship. Here, all Loki cares about is power. He believes all else is meaningless. Oh yeah, when Loki was captured and in the Queen's hive, so to speak, he didn't have powers. His powers went away. That's why he couldn't escape by himself. I find Volstagg to be the funniest character in Thor comics, at least from what I've read so far. Here, he's boasting about how powerful he is and how he shouldn't even get a little splinter on one of his fingers, and bossing everyone around when they're rowing the boat, but not contributing anything. Balder the Brave, who's in charge with the Thor saving Loki, orders him to row, and he sits being too fat to sit without causing others to fall off their seats. Volstagg criticizes the sea because it can't handle a mighty warrior like him. When Thor returns, Volstagg says he was about to defeat all the trolls to save Thor and Loki, and Balder agrees that Volstagg would have talked them all to death. Loki also claims to them all that Odin saved him and Thor because he is too important to die or be placed in jeopardy. The end has Odin tell the warriors that their mission is complete and to return to Asgard. Sure, hopefully fun stories like this is what the Tales of Asgard was all about. 5 pages of extra stuff that happened in the past. I didn't think I'd have so much to say about this issue, but hey, I guess I did. Well, thank you for watching this little review and have a good one.